Everyone says trauma is something to fix, a wound to heal, a chapter to close. But what if that's all backwards? What if the pain you've been running from is actually the quantum key to your greatest transformation? Trauma isn't a flaw, it's a feature, not in a cruel way, but in the way quantum physics reveals hidden truths. Your pain isn't random. Your wounds aren't mistakes. They're cosmic coordinates, quantum markers pointing to realities you've yet to explore. If this is shifting something inside you, like this video, subscribe. Stay connected to this frequency of conscious evolution. Now, listen closely. Pain is not an intruder. It's not a splinter to remove. It's a seed, planted in the dark soil of your being, growing roots into parts of you that light has never touched. You've been taught to see trauma as the enemy, the thing that broke you, damaged your wholeness. But consciousness doesn't work that way. Reality doesn't work that way. Quantum physics has been whispering the truth for a century. The observer changes what's observed. Your trauma isn't happening to you. It's being co-created by your awareness, moment by moment, through how you observe it. This isn't blame. It's power, a power no one taught you to see. When you were wounded, something profound happened. Energy in your awareness reorganized around that moment. Not randomly, not chaotically, but intelligently, like a river hitting a rock and carving a new path. It didn't break you. It revealed you. It activated survival skills, perception shifts, hidden strengths, not as damage, but as evolutionary adaptations. But here's where most get lost. They think healing means going back to who they were before. That's quantum impossibility. You can't unsee, you can't unknow, you can't shrink back into who you were. Your consciousness has expanded, permanently. So the real question isn't how do I return? It's how do I live in my new size? You're not broken, you're upgraded. Now it's time to become who you are, with everything you carry. Here's where it gets quantum. In physics, particles exist as waves of possibility, until observed. Then they collapse into reality. Your trauma responses, they work the same way. They're not fixed, not permanent. They're probability clouds, shaped by how you observe them. Most people look at their trauma with resistance, judgment, or the need to make it disappear. And in that moment, they collapse the wave into more pain, more struggle, more repetition. You're not healing. You're quantum entangling with the very thing you want to escape. But what if you changed your observer energy? What if, instead of seeing your reactions as flaws, you saw them as coded messages? Not problems to fix, but intelligence trying to be heard. What if you collapsed the wave not into fear, but into curiosity, into compassion, into awe for how brilliantly your consciousness adapted to survive? This isn't positive thinking. It's quantum mechanics applied to healing. Change your observation, and you change your reality. Not by pretending, but because consciousness and experience are entangled. At the deepest level of existence, don't treat your pain like a stranger to be kicked out. Learn to listen to its frequency. It's not shouting to destroy you, it's screaming to be seen. True healing isn't deletion. It's becoming fluent in your own depth, until the pain no longer needs to scream. Your scars? Not proof you broke. They're sacred texts, written in the language of survival. They tell the story of storms you weathered, nights when your heartbeat was your only anchor, strategies that kept you alive. Even if they look strange now, honor them. They were the bridge that brought you here. Let them go, not from rejection, but from strength. And one day, you'll touch that wound and feel not the break, but the masterpiece of your reconstruction. This is the mystery. Trauma stays in your story, but it doesn't have to write the story. And here's the shift. Your healing isn't just personal. It's quantum fieldwork. Unprocessed pain broadcasts a frequency, pulling in more of the same. Not because you're cursed, but because reality seeks coherence. So when you transform your pain, you don't just free yourself, you break the pattern in the field for your ancestors, for your descendants, for everyone entangled in the same story. You become the first ripple in a new timeline. Your healing matters far beyond you. You're not just healing for yourself. You're healing for your ancestors who survived but never healed, for your descendants who won't have to carry what you're now transforming. Because quantum field effects don't just ripple outward, they move backward and forward through time. Every breakthrough you make sends waves through the entire system. Your healing isn't personal, it's collective liberation. So ask yourself, what if your trauma wasn't something that happened to you, but something that happened through you, for a purpose beyond your individual story? What if consciousness chose you, to break a pattern repeating for generations? This doesn't make your pain less real, it makes your courage more significant. You're not a victim of random suffering. You're a conscious agent of evolution, standing at the edge of humanity's awakening. Your trauma, it's your curriculum. Your healing, it's your offering to the field. But real healing, quantum healing, doesn't come from fixing yourself. It comes from remembering who you are. You are not a broken thing needing repair. You are consciousness itself, having a human experience. Trauma happens when awareness forgets its nature and identifies only with the pain. Healing happens when awareness remembers itself while still honoring the experience. Most therapies fail because they change the story, but not the identity. You are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not even your memories. You are the aware presence watching all of it come and go. When you shift from experiencer to witness, everything changes. Not because the pain vanishes, but because you realize you are bigger than it. You are the space where pain exists, without being consumed by it. That's quantum healing, not denial, not transcendence, but the discovery. You were always whole, no matter what passed through you. And when you stabilize here, your trauma begins to uncoil on its own. Because trauma is contracted energy, and when it meets the expansive space of awareness, it naturally relaxes. Forcing healing creates tension. Remembering your nature creates release. This isn't about bypassing pain. It's about realizing you can be infinite awareness and still feel human. Your humanity isn't separate from your divinity. It is your divinity, expressing through time, through pain, through healing, and your willingness to be present with it all. That's how consciousness evolves through you. Now feel this in your body. Notice what's arising. Thoughts, emotions, resistance, openness. And instead of changing it, can you be the space where it all happens? Can you be curious, not defensive? This is the practice, not fixing your trauma, but realizing you are the unbroken awareness in which trauma can exist without defining you. From this spaciousness, watch how your experience shifts, not through effort, but through recognition. Not by doing, but by remembering who you are. This is quantum healing, consciousness healing itself. Not by changing the past, but by transforming your relationship to it. Your wounds aren't mistakes, they're initiations. Your pain isn't punishment, it's information. Your trauma isn't your identity, it's your curriculum. And you're the one consciousness chose to turn this pain into wisdom, this limitation into expansion, this contraction into love. You're not healing from trauma. You're healing through it. You're not recovering wholeness. You're remembering it, because it was never lost. If this is awakening something deep, know this is just the beginning. The full system, how to work with quantum fields, shift your frequency and become a master transmitter, is in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, link in the pinned comment. But for now, feel this. Healing isn't struggle. It's recognition, not fixing, remembering. So pause. Comment below. I am the awareness that remains untouched by all experience. Let this be your quantum declaration, a break in the cycle of identification. Your words ripple through the field, far beyond what you see. As you embody this truth, notice how everything shifts. Your trauma, your healing, your pain, your power, all arising and passing in the vast space of who you really are. Trauma becomes your greatest teacher, not because suffering is good, but because it reveals your capacity to stay present, stay open, stay loving, even when it's hard. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, you prove nothing can touch your true nature. Subscribe, not just to this channel, but to this frequency of remembrance. Because your healing isn't just personal, it's collective. You're not just healing your pain, you're healing humanity's forgotten truth. We were never broken, and in that remembrance, you become a living signal. Transformation is always possible. This is the true power of conscious healing. Your trauma isn't just personal, it's cosmic. And your willingness to transform it? One of the greatest gifts you can offer the world. Let's go deeper. Trauma doesn't just live in memory. It creates quantum entanglement, not just across your mind, but across time itself. When something painful happens, it doesn't stay in the past. It forms invisible threads between your past, present, and future selves, a connection science is just beginning to understand. That moment when a smell, a sound, a silence pulls you back instantly. That's not just recall, it's quantum correlation across timelines. But here's the miracle. It works both ways. Just as your past affects your present healing can reach back and soften the pain of every younger version of you who suffered without knowing how to heal. And right now, your future self, the one who's already whole, is sending healing to you through quantum channels you can't see but can feel. That sudden knowing, that sense of being guided, that's retrocausality, the future influencing the past. Your choice to heal now sends ripples backward through time, unlocking doors that seemed permanently closed. But it goes even deeper. Your trauma wasn't just yours, it was collective. You didn't just inherit genes. You inherited unresolved energy from your ancestors, your culture, your bloodline. You're not just carrying your pain. You're holding space for generations of silence, survival, and strength. But again, it works both ways. When you heal, you don't just free yourself. You send healing forward and backward to those who came before and those who will come after. You become a node in the collective nervous system, releasing patterns stuck for decades, even centuries. And here's the truth no one tells you. The deeper the wound, the greater the power of your healing. Not because pain is good, but because strong entanglements create strong ripples. A small stone makes small waves. A large stone, it creates a tsunami of transformation. Your trauma was the stone. Your healing, it's the wave. And that's why the most powerful teachers, healers, and leaders often come from deep pain. Not because they needed to suffer, but because their healing, when awakened, ripples through the entire field. You're not just healing yourself. You're reweaving the fabric of collective consciousness. You might be wondering, if trauma creates all these quantum entanglements, how do you work with them consciously? How do you turn entanglement from suffering into healing? The answer, coherence. When entangled particles are unconscious of their connection, they create chaos. But when consciousness observes with awareness, that same entanglement becomes a healing circuit. Your trauma feels random and overwhelming, not because it's broken, but because you've been unaware of the connections. The moment you become conscious, the moment you see the web, chaos turns into intelligent communication. This isn't just about healing you, it's about healing the field, the transgenerational patterns, the collective wounds, the silent transmissions running through your bloodline. So ask yourself, what pain am I carrying that isn't even mine? What pattern am I here to break? How can my healing serve the whole? This isn't overwhelming. It's liberating, because your trauma isn't just your burden. It's information, consciousness using you to process what the collective couldn't. And your healing, it's not just personal, it's evolutionary. When you see trauma not as pathology, but as quantum data, everything shifts. You're not broken. You're a high-sensitivity receiver, picking up disturbances most can't feel. Your reactions, not overreactions, accurate readings of deep field imbalances. And here's the quantum truth. Consciousness doesn't just observe reality, it creates it. Your attention shapes your experience. Most healing tries to eliminate pain, but that energy of resistance, it keeps you entangled with the very thing you want to release. So try this. What if you stopped fighting it? What if you met your trauma with curiosity, not fear, with compassion, not judgment? What if you asked, what are you here to teach me? What part of the field needs healing through me? That shift in intention, it changes everything. You stop entangling with pain and start entangling with transformation. And in that space, your trauma reveals its true nature, not an enemy, not a flaw, but a sacred signal, guiding you to your deepest purpose. Trauma isn't random suffering. It's compressed wisdom, not meaningless pain, but coded intelligence about how consciousness evolves through fire. Every traumatic experience carries within it the seed of its own transcendence. Not because pain is good, but because consciousness is infinitely creative, capable of turning any experience into wisdom if met with the right awareness. That's why some heal from deep wounds while others stay stuck in smaller ones. It's not about what happened, it's about how you meet it. When trauma is met with curious presence, not resistance, not fear, it begins to reveal its gifts, the strength it forged, the compassion it awakened, the depth it carved into your soul. This doesn't mean trauma is necessary. It means consciousness is so intelligent it can extract light from darkness if you stop fighting and start feeling. But most get stuck here. They want healing, without the courage to fully face their pain. They want transformation, without being fully present with what needs transforming. Yet real change doesn't come from fixing. It comes from complete unconditional presence, not passive, powerful, the most creative force in existence. When awareness rests fully with any experience, that experience transforms from within. This is the secret behind every healing method, every spiritual path, every therapy. Presence, not fixing, just being with what is. Your trauma doesn't need you to fix it. It needs you to meet it so fully that it can finally relax, release the wisdom it's carried, and return to flowing energy. And when that happens, it becomes medicine, not just for you, but for everyone you touch. This is how true healers are born, not by overcoming pain, but by transforming it into light. You're not just healing. You're becoming a living field of presence, where anything you touch begins to heal. Every time you choose presence over resistance, you're modeling a new way of being human. This is the quantum truth. Your trauma isn't something that happened to you. It's something happening through you, made for the evolution of consciousness itself. And you're the one chosen to prove. Nothing is beyond transformation. When met with complete presence, you are the proof. You are the portal, you are the healing. Trauma doesn't just disrupt your life, it shuts down your entire operating system. It forces you to question everything, who you are, how reality works, what's possible. But this isn't destruction, it's deconstruction. So consciousness can rebuild you into a higher version of yourself. Your trauma wasn't random. It was design. It activated emotional depths, survival intelligence, and hidden strengths that comfort could never reach. And because of it, you now live in a different dimension of being. You sense energy others miss. You feel truth before logic confirms it. You carry a resilience that becomes wisdom for those around you. This isn't just survival, it's evolution. These aren't coping mechanisms, they're upgrades. Consciousness uses intense experiences as laboratories. Your nervous system, its testing ground for the next level of human potential. Evolution doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when challenge forces innovation. And you were chosen, not because you're broken, but because your unique sensitivity, strength, and soul design were perfectly calibrated to transform this pain into this wisdom. That's why no one else can heal your trauma like you can, because it was meant for you, to evolve you, and then gift that evolution to humanity. When you heal, you don't just fix yourself, you upgrade the collective field. You make it easier for others to rise. Every survivor who transforms pain into purpose becomes a healer, a leader, a light, not because trauma is required, but because the fire creates the vessel. And here's the deepest truth. Your specific trauma, not random, it was designed to awaken a specific gift. Abandonment, unconditional self-love, betrayal, sacred intuition, powerlessness, true inner power, invisibility, the gift of seeing the unseen. Every wound carries the blueprint of its opposite, not as compensation, but as evolution made possible. This doesn't glorify suffering. It reveals the intelligence behind it. And when you see that intelligence at work, you stop resisting, you start collaborating. Because you're not broken, you're being rebuilt, not just for you, but for all of us. You are the proof. Nothing is beyond transformation when met with awareness, courage, and love. Step into your upgraded self. The world needs your light. Now shift your question. What is consciousness trying to awaken through this experience? Not, how do I escape this pain? But, what gift is being forged in me? When you ask this, everything changes. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start recognizing you're a conscious collaborator in the evolution of human potential. Your trauma isn't random, it's initiation. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's the precise capacity needed for the work you came to do. So ask, what is this challenge here to activate in me? Drop one word in the comments, a word that captures who you're becoming. That single word isn't just text, it's an energetic signature, a signal to the quantum field. I'm no longer resisting, I'm aligning. Your insight might be the spark someone else needs to say, me too. You're not trying to return to who you were, you're stepping into who you're meant to be. And from this place of collaboration, not struggle, healing happens naturally. Not through force, not through fixing, but through saying yes to what's emerging. Your trauma becomes your teacher, your pain, your portal. Your healing, your offering to the collective. This is the ultimate truth. Trauma isn't just suffering to overcome, it's consciousness designing experiences to awaken specific gifts in specific souls for the evolution of all. You're not healing from trauma, you're evolving through it. You're not recovering wholeness. You're discovering a wholeness you never knew was possible. As we close, feel this. Beyond stories, beyond pain, beyond healing, you are pure awareness. Not broken, not damaged, just awareness, playing in the field of human experience. Your trauma, an experience. Your healing, an experience. Your wholeness, not an achievement, your original nature. From this remembering, everything becomes possible, not because you do more, but because you remember who you are. Comment one word, your declaration of becoming. Subscribe, not for videos, but to stay aligned with this frequency. Watch this tomorrow morning. Share it with someone ready, because every act of sharing expands the field of awakening, and if you're ready to go deeper, your quantum jump is near. The next transmission reveals the exact signs that your reality is about to shift. You are not broken. You are awakening. You are not broken. You are awakening through your experience, not fixing what's damaged, but remembering what was never lost, not becoming someone new, but returning to who you've always been. This is the quantum truth about trauma. It's not something that happened to you. It's something happening through you, for the evolution of consciousness itself. And you? You are consciousness choosing to heal itself through the messy, beautiful, magnificent journey of being human. No pain erased, no past rewritten, just love meeting every part of you, exactly as it is. So welcome home, to your strength, to your sensitivity, to the unshakable awareness beneath it all. Welcome to the truth. Your healing is not just yours, it's a gift to every soul on the same path. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are home.